Yes, Sayālay. Thank you, Sayālay.
Yes. So during the Dhamma talk, there has been explanation about Ariyavāsa. Ariyavāsa, the dwelling of the noble ones. Being in the dwelling of the noble ones, there is safety, security, and if one is not in the Ariyavāsa, there is no safety, security. And as a Puthujana, a worldly being, without the practice, one cannot be in the Ariyavāsa momentarily. At the moment, one cannot be at the Ariyavāsa. For that moment, one is not safe or secure. There is the danger of falling into the apaya. On previous days, 6 of the Ariyavāsa has been explained. Today, we'll go on to explain the 7th. The 7th of the 10 Ariyavāsa is Anavila Sankappa. Anavila Sankappa means unperturbed thoughts. As an Arahat, because the Arahat has totally gotten rid of all the defilements, the mind of the Arahat is unperturbed. Anavila Sankappa, the mind, the thoughts are pure, unperturbed, undisturbed by the defilements, as these defilements have been totally uprooted. For ordinary people, one has not removed defilements. So when defilements arise, these defilements perturb the mind, so that the mind is disturbed, perturbed by these defilements, and there will be wrongful thoughts. Being disturbed, being perturbed by the defilements, there will be wrongful thoughts, thinking about sensual objects, thinking about pleasant things that one wants to see, smell, taste, touch, and so on. This kama vitaka arises, and there is greed. The mind is perturbed by greed. And thinking about ill will, the person wanting to hurt or destroy or kill others, Vyabhada vitaka, ill will thoughts arise, the perturbed thoughts. And Vihimsa vitaka, wanting to torment, wanting to trouble others. Vihimsa vitaka, tormenting thoughts arise. In order not to let these wrongful thoughts arise, one should be mindful of presently arising objects. When noting the object, one's mind should be directed onto the object. One's mind should be aimed, directed to the object. The mind should be applied onto the object. Aiming, directing the mind onto the object, applying the mind onto the object, it is vitaka, or in other words, it is samma sankappa, right application of the mind. The mind is applied onto the meditation object, such as rising, falling, sitting, touching, lifting, moving, placing. So when the mind is applied onto the object, there is Samma Sankappa. At that very moment, when the mind is applied onto the object, Samma Sankappa is present, and thus the wrongful thoughts do not have chance to arise. And having viriya, the effort in noting the object, sati, mindfulness, sustained on the object, samadhi, the mind calm, collected on the object. Having this viriya, sati, samadhi present in the noting, obsessive defilements cannot arise. There will not be wrongful thoughts. And as Samma Sankappa, right application of the mind present, the mind discerning the object stiff, tense, pulling, pushing, this Panya Khanda, the knowledge group is also present. So at that very moment, defilements cannot arise, wrongful thoughts cannot arise. In this way, yogi's mind is also unperturbed by the defilements. There is anavila sankappa, unperturbed thoughts, the mind being unperturbed by being mindful, discerning the object. In this way, yogi get this Ariyavāsa, the seventh factor of Ariyavāsa, anavila sankappa, momentarily by being mindful on the object in meditation. The eighth is Passatta Kaya Sankharo. Passatta Kaya Sankharo is the Sattota jhana, the fourth jhana, where in-breath, out-breath have come to cease. So this ceasing of the in-breath, out-breath in the fourth jhana, it involves samatha practice. If an arahat is sukha vipassaka, meaning if the arahat is the arahat that merely practice the vipassana practice, will not have this factor of this fourth jhana, where the cessation of in-breath, out-breath. So the arahat who has supernormal power, abhiññana, chala abhiññā, the arahat who has the sixth supernormal power, or te vijja, the arahat who has the three supernormal knowledge, will have this seventh factor. Whereas sukha vipassaka, the arahat who merely has this vipassana practice will not have this factor. But in attaining nibbana, there is no difference whether a Buddha or a normal sukha vipassaka arahat, or chala abhiññā arahat, or te vijja arahat. There is no difference in attaining nibbana. So actually this factor, if one is not endowed with it, it doesn't matter so long as one realizes the nibbana. The ninth is suvimutta citta. Suvimutta citta is the mind fully liberated from raga, dosa, moha. So an arahat is totally free from defilements. Arahat has removed all the defilements, so the mind of the Arahat is Suvimutta Citta, fully liberated from defilements. As a yogi, in order to have this factor, momentarily, one should be mindful of the presently arising object, being mindful, discerning the object. For that moment of being mindful, discerning the object, the mind is liberated from the defilements momentarily. And there will be this Ariyavāsa momentarily, moment by moment. Yogi should make the effort so that the mind will be liberated from defilements moment by moment, one after another. And the 10th is Suvimutta Panyo. Suvimutta Panyo is actually the Pachvakana Jnana. Arahat, having liberated from these raga, dosa, moha, there is the Pachvakana Jnana, knowledge reflecting that the mind is liberated from these defilements. Not only the Arahat has this Pachvakana Jnana, but also a Sotapanna, after attaining the path and fruition knowledge, a Sotapanna also have this Pachvakana Jnana, reflection knowledge that his or her mind has liberated from certain defilements. But as an Arahat, having removed all the defilements, have this Pachvakana Jnana knowledge, reflection knowledge that his or her mind is fully liberated from these defilements. So these 10 factors of Ariyavāsa has been explained. Among these 10, even though we say there are 10 Ariyavāsa, the main is Sutta Rekhena Cetasa, having mindfulness as the protection. If one fulfills this mindfulness as the protection, other factors will also be fulfilled. In order to have sati, mindfulness as the protection, in order to have this Ariyavāsa, moment by moment, one after another, sati, mindfulness, it should not just be normal, it should be outstanding kind of mindfulness. As explained in the earlier day, sati, mindfulness, has this characteristics of apilapana lekhana, not wobbling, not floating on the surface. So yogi should make the effort in noting so that mindfulness will not be superficial, it will not be floating just on the surface, but it should sink into the object. Asamosa rasa, sati has the function of not losing sight of the object, not forgetting the object. So in the practice, when rising occurred, mindfulness should not lose sight of this rising. Always in view. As soon as the rising arises, keep in view of the rising all the way until rising finishes. In this way, whatever object that arises, mindfulness should always in view, not losing sight of the present arising object. Arabana Bimukha Bhava Pachupatthana, sati has the manifestation of coming face to face with the object. When you want to look at a person closely, in order to see clearly, you need to be face to face with that person to have a clear view. In the same way, when you are noting the object, your mind should be direct or face to face with the object. The mindfulness should be face to face direct with the object so that one can see the object clearly, distinctly. Arakha Pachupatthana, the sati mindfulness has the manifestation of guarding, protecting the mind. For example, if a house or the office has a security, the security take care so that unwanted people cannot enter. In the same way, mindfulness guards and protects so that the unwanted defilements cannot enter the mind. So in this way, being mindful, the mind is guarded, protected, so that defilements cannot enter. Rakha Varanagoti, meaning sati guards and protects so that defilements cannot enter. Avarana, the defilements are being blocked from arising, and Goti, there will be safety, security away from defilements, and Sandhi, the mind will be in peace because the defilements do not enter the mind. And Mukti, there will be liberation. Having mindfulness as the protection, defilements cannot arise, and Mukti, the mind will be liberated from the defilements. So having sati, mindfulness, the defilements cannot arise, the mind is pure and clean, and if keeping the mindfulness continuous one after another, continuous, concentration will also be developed, continuous. The more the mindfulness and concentration become continuous, the stronger it will be, and one discerns the object that has been noted. Panya unfolds when Viriya, Sati, Samadhi are continuous and strong. For example, when noting rising, one discerns the nature such as stiffness, tension, and so on. So one discerns the unique individual characteristics. In the Nama Rupa, there are unique individual characteristics. So it is important to discern the unique individual characteristic, because in order for the vipassana to arise, one needs to discern the unique individual characteristics of the Nama Rupa that has been noted. If one does not discern the unique individual characteristic of the Nama Rupa that has been noted, one cannot see the arising and passing away, and vipassana cannot develop. For example, when noting pain, if the yogi makes the effort in noting pain, one comes to notice the unique individual characteristic sabhava lakhana that is in the pain, such as stiffness, tension, or warmth, heat, or pulling, pushing, or stickiness, and so on. So in this way, at first, yogi notices the unique individual characteristics such as stiffness, heat, stabbing, pulling, movement, pushing, and so on. But as the yogi notes again and again, one after another, repeatedly as pain, 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 yogi notices that this heat pain arise and pass away. Another heat pain arise, pass away. Another heat arise and pass away. In this way, yogi comes to notice the arising and passing away and comes to understand the impermanence. In the beginning, not being mindful, yogi think it is the same pain that arises 15 minutes, 30 minutes, the same pain. But as the yogi pay attention, yogi notices that it is not the same pain. One heat arise, pass away, another heat arise, pass away. In this way, yogi notices arising and passing away, and yogi understands the impermanence. Only then, vipassana knowledge has arisen. And as the yogi continues the practice diligently, yogi comes to discern the fast arising and passing away of the objects. At that stage of Uddiyabhaya Jnana, discerning the fast arising and passing away of the objects, sati, mindfulness, become amazingly strong that one is able to note almost every object that arises without missing, without failing. Sati becomes amazingly strong. Having sati, mindfulness, thus the protection, strong, defilements do not arise, and thus the mind is pure and clean. Also, in the body, the blood becomes pure and purer, cleaner. The blood circulation also becomes better, that there is illumination. Yogi sees bright light. There is illumination that arises from the body. Piti, joy, arises, having goose flesh. Passaddhi, tranquility. Also, there is efficiency in noting the objects, and viriya, effort, become amazingly strong. At that stage, viriya is called pakaha. Pakaha means uplifted effort. The effort doesn't go down, it doesn't stagnate in the middle, but the effort goes up and up. There is pakaha. And adhimokha, firm confirmation. His or her faith and confidence becomes confirmation, decision that this practice is right. This practice can lead to the cessation. So in this way, through his or her experience of practice, the faith and confidence become resolute faith, adhimokha. And samadhi become very strong, and panya becomes very strong. Yogi discerns in a clear-cut manner. So in this way, at this stage of Uddiyabhaya Jnana, the practice becomes very smooth. His or her own experience of practice is smooth that yogi feels encouraged through his or her own experience of practice. In the beginning, teachers, friends have to encourage the yogi to pursue the practice. But at this stage of Uddiyabhaya Jnana, his or her own experience of practice keep the yogi encouraged by himself, by herself. Sunyagaram pavetasa sanda cetasa bhikkhuno amanusirati hoti sammadhamma vipassato. In the Dhammavada verse, the bhikkhu who stay in this seclusion, being mindful, seeing the arising and passing away of the objects, who is having this practice of vipassana, seeing the arising and passing away of the object, amanusirati hoti sammadhamma vipassato, seeing the arising and passing away of the object, the joy, the happiness that arise through this practice, amanusirati, this Dhamma happiness is said to be amanusirati. It excels so many times than the human deva happiness. It means that at this stage, the happiness that is gained from the Dhamma, it excels many times than the worldly happiness of human and deva. So at this stage, one doesn't think highly of the worldly happiness. In the beginning, people think highly of the worldly happiness. They think that they are complete when they have worldly happiness. But in the meditation practice, when the yogi comes to attain at least the Uddiyabhaya Jnana, the Dhamma piti, the joy, the happiness that is gained in the Dhamma excels many times than the worldly happiness that of human and deva. And yato samasati khandana Uddiyabhaya lapati piti pamojam amatandam vijanadam. Meaning that cultivating this vipassana knowledge, discerning the arising and passing away of the object, one gains the piti pamoja, joy and rapture. And this joy and rapture that arise at this vipassana knowledge is said to be amata. Actually, amata is the name of nibbana. Amata is the word that defines nibbana. But here in this Dhammavada verse, the piti pamaucha, joy and rapture that arise in the vipassana knowledge is called amata, because if the yogi reaches this Uddiyabhaya Jnana, and it can lead to nibbana. If the yogi continues the practice diligently according to the guidance and instruction given, this person is sure to attain nibbana in this very life. That's why it is said as amata. So as a yogi, if a yogi has attained Uddiyabhaya Jnana, such yogi, if continue to practice diligently according to the correct guidance and instruction given, yogi can surely attain Nibbana in this very life. So having attained at least the first path and fruition knowledge, a Sotapanna owns the Ariyavāsa, that there is a safety guarantee that this person will never fall into the abaya. And continuing the practice, attaining path and fruition knowledge stage by stage, when one becomes an arahat, the arahat has fully accomplished the Ariyavāsa, that after that life, arahat will not have any of the suffering of the samsara. So time is up. May the yogis be able to practice smoothly to develop Ariyavāsa moment by moment until they reach Nibbana and own the Ariyavāsa totally by attaining the path and fruition knowledge.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.